Hello, perceptive Scorpio. Some of life's most important turning points don't arrive with dramatic announcements. They begin as quiet realizations that slowly reshape the way you understand yourself. They often emerge so gently that it's only in hindsight you recognize how profoundly they altered your direction. If this message has found you, it may be because you're standing at the edge of an inner transformation, one that asks you to release what has quietly outlived its purpose. Rather than forcing change, it invites you to notice what has already begun shifting beneath the surface. Your intuition has likely been sending subtle signals for some time now, encouraging you to acknowledge truths you've sensed long before your mind was ready to explain them. The more willing you are to listen without rushing towards certainty, the easier it becomes to recognize the wisdom that's already unfolding within you. You may also find certain relationships drawing more of your attention than usual. Not because something is wrong, but because your inner world is asking for greater honesty. Sometimes the most significant changes in a relationship happen silently, through small shifts in understanding, priorities, or emotional needs rather than dramatic events. Some connections simply need clearer communication, while others may already have changed beneath the surface, even if no one has spoken about it yet. If your instincts suggest it's time to loosen your grip on a familiar pattern, remember that letting go is not about losing something valuable. It is about reclaiming the energy you've been using to hold on. Releasing what no longer reflects who you are creates space for relationships that can grow alongside the person you're becoming. Trust yourself to respond with calm, clear intention rather than fear, allowing honesty to guide your decisions more than old habits ever could. If you've been thinking about exploring a different path, developing an idea, or stepping beyond what feels comfortable, don't wait until every answer appears. The desire for complete certainty can sometimes become another way of delaying the life you're ready to build. Real understanding often reveals itself only after you've taken the first sincere step, because experience teaches lessons that planning alone never can. Challenges may test your confidence, but each choice made with integrity strengthens the person you are becoming. Even moments that seem uncertain have a way of revealing unexpected strengths when you continue moving forward with patience instead of perfection. Progress is rarely perfect, yet every honest effort shapes a future built on deeper self-respect and a growing trust in your own judgment. As uncertainty rises, pay attention to the thoughts you usually try to push away. Scorpio often carries old fears quietly, especially those connected to trust, vulnerability, or the need to stay in control after past disappointments. Those protective instincts may once have served an important purpose, but not every wall built for survival is meant to remain forever. Rather than judging those reactions, become curious about them. Ask yourself whether they're responding to your present reality or simply echoing experiences you've already outgrown. The more willingly you face what has been hidden beneath the surface, the less power those old patterns will have over your future, allowing emotional freedom to replace constant vigilance. Imagine clearing a spring that has been blocked by fallen branches and stones. The water was never gone, it simply needed room to flow again. Your inner life works much the same way. Clarity rarely needs to be created. More often it is uncovered by gently removing what has been clouding it. When you release what no longer belongs, your thoughts become less burdened by old expectations, your emotions settle more naturally, and your own wisdom becomes easier to hear. Like clear water finding its course again, your energy begins flowing toward what truly nourishes your spirit, instead of remaining trapped in what has already run its course. Stay connected to whatever helps you return to yourself, whether that's quiet reflection, prayer, journaling, meditation, or another meaningful practice. These moments aren't about escaping reality. They help you recognize it more clearly by creating enough stillness to hear your own inner voice. In a world filled with constant distraction, choosing to pause becomes a powerful act of self-awareness. As this inner shift unfolds, you'll begin noticing guidance in unexpected places, not because the world has suddenly changed, but because you're learning to see it with greater honesty, confidence, and emotional clarity. Trust your own discernment, keep what genuinely resonates, and allow the rest to pass without resistance, knowing that not every message is meant for every stage of your journey. Remember that this reading is offered as a symbolic reflection rather than a fixed prediction. Its purpose is not to tell you exactly what will happen, but to offer perspectives that may help you understand your own experiences more deeply. Some parts may speak directly to your experience, while others may simply invite contemplation or encourage a different way of looking at a familiar situation. Let your intuition decide what deserves your attention, because your journey is uniquely your own, shaped by choices that only you can make. As we continue, we'll explore how these deeper currents may be influencing your relationships, your work, your resources, your well-being, and the foundations that quietly support every part of your life. A quiet sense of steadiness begins to settle within you, Scorpio, like deep water becoming still after a long season of hidden currents. The surface may appear calm, yet beneath it something meaningful has already been reorganizing itself, almost unnoticed. Something you've been nurturing in silence, perhaps an ambition, a personal goal, or a new understanding of yourself, no longer feels as distant as it once did. Instead of waiting for certainty to arrive, you're beginning to recognize that the real shift has been happening within you all along. The outer world often changes only after your inner landscape has found a new shape, and you may be starting to see subtle signs of that alignment. As this transformation unfolds, you're invited to release what no longer reflects the person you're becoming and make room for possibilities that once seemed beyond reach. There is a natural invitation to bring unfinished chapters to a close, especially where relationships and practical responsibilities have quietly lingered unresolved. Some loose ends continue to demand attention simply because they've remained untouched for too long, not because they still belong in your future. Letting go isn't about erasing the past, it's about reclaiming the energy you've invested in carrying it. The confidence growing inside you comes from experience rather than wishful thinking, and that quiet strength makes it easier to move forward with intention. You are no longer making decisions from the same emotional place you once did, and that difference matters more than you may realize. What once felt impossible may now begin to feel achievable because you're approaching it from a different place within yourself. The world appears as a symbol of completion, reminding you that every ending creates space for a more authentic beginning. For Scorpio, whose journey often involves profound transformation, this card speaks less about reaching a finish line and more about emerging from an old version of yourself with a clearer understanding of what truly deserves your devotion. Some cycles end not because they failed, but because they have already taught everything they came to teach. Long-standing efforts, especially those connected to stability or personal ambitions, may finally reveal their deeper purpose. Success is not simply arriving from the outside. It reflects the inner work you've already done, the habits you've refined, and the emotional resilience you've cultivated in moments no one else could see. The Ace of Pentacles shifts the focus toward tangible opportunities and wiser decisions. Rather than promising unexpected fortune, it highlights the value of recognizing where your abilities, discipline, and self-worth are creating new possibilities. You may notice opportunities that align more closely with who you have become, whether through work, business, or financial choices that feel more sustainable and exciting. Sometimes, the greatest opportunity isn't something entirely new, but a fresh way of valuing the skills you've carried with you all along. This card encourages you to trust practical instincts as much as emotional intuition, remembering that lasting abundance often grows from consistent, thoughtful action instead of impulsive leaps. Strength reminds you that resilience is rarely loud. As a water sign, Scorpio understands that true power often moves beneath the surface, revealing itself through patience, emotional discipline, and unwavering conviction. It is the quiet confidence that allows you to remain steady when circumstances become uncertain, rather than reacting from fear or frustration. Challenges may still appear, but they no longer define you in the same way, because you've learned that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to keep moving while remaining true to yourself. Healthy boundaries are not walls that separate you from others. They are expressions of self-respect that allow trust to grow where it is genuinely earned. The moon invites you to look beyond appearances and become curious about what remains unspoken. Mixed signals, unanswered questions, or uncertain emotions may reflect more than external circumstances. They may reveal places where trust is still learning to grow within you. Scorpio has a natural instinct for sensing what lies beneath the surface, yet even strong intuition benefits from patience before reaching conclusions. Your natural magnetism can draw people toward you, while simultaneously encouraging them to confront their own uncertainties. Instead of searching for certainty in someone else's actions, allow your intuition to distinguish genuine emotional truth from old fears, assumptions, or past experiences that no longer define your present. The Lover speaks of meaningful choices rooted in authenticity rather than nostalgia or emotional habit. Whether your attention turns toward an existing relationship, a new connection, or your relationship with yourself, the invitation is the same. Choose what reflects your deepest values instead of what merely feels familiar. Lasting relationships are rarely sustained by chemistry alone. They deepen through honesty, mutual respect, and the willingness to continue choosing one another through change. Genuine intimacy grows where honesty and vulnerability are welcomed together. The decisions you make from that place create connections capable of lasting beyond temporary emotion because they are built on truth instead of expectation. Your body also deserves the same attentive listening you offer your inner world. If periods of inactivity have become part of your routine, consider them a gentle invitation to reconnect with movement instead of a reason for self-criticism. Small acts of care, a walk, mindful stretching, or simply allowing yourself proper rest can gradually restore both physical vitality and emotional clarity. Caring for your physical well-being doesn't require dramatic change. Steady, sustainable habits often create the greatest transformation. Each small step strengthens not only your body but also the trust you build with yourself, reminding you that consistency often accomplishes what intensity cannot sustain. Professionally, there are signs that your persistence is beginning to reshape your path. If you've invested time and effort into your work or a personal project, you may begin recognizing how much your skills have evolved, even before others acknowledge them. Growth often becomes visible internally before it is recognized externally, and your increasing confidence is itself evidence of meaningful progress. Stay focused on meaningful progress rather than outside validation, and avoid allowing distractions to pull your attention away from what truly matters. If you're exploring a new opportunity, approach it with curiosity and confidence, understanding that every worthwhile path includes moments designed to test your commitment rather than discourage it. Each challenge offers another opportunity to refine your abilities and strengthen the discipline that will support your long-term success. Financially, this chapter encourages thoughtful stewardship instead of impulsive optimism. Old beliefs about limitation or scarcity may gradually lose their influence as your confidence in your own judgment grows. Prosperity becomes more sustainable when it reflects clear decisions, healthy boundaries, and an honest recognition of your value rather than the hope that circumstances alone will change. The relationship you build with money often mirrors the relationship you build with yourself, making self-worth just as important as practical planning. Remain mindful of subtle forms of self-sabotage, especially moments when doubt creates obstacles that reality does not. The more your choices align with your true worth, the more naturally stability begins to take root, creating a foundation that supports not only material security, but also a deeper sense of confidence in your ability to shape your own future. Ground yourself in what is real rather than in the stories fear may be trying to tell. Fear as a way of filling in the blanks with imagined outcomes, making uncertainty seem far more intimidating than it truly is, even when the evidence points in a quieter direction. The mind naturally tries to protect you by preparing for every possibility, but not every possibility deserves your attention. Small, consistent choices often reshape a life more deeply than dramatic moments ever could, and each thoughtful step strengthens the foundation beneath you. As your confidence grows, you may begin recognizing your own value in more tangible ways, especially through the decisions you make rather than the circumstances you wait for. You are learning that confidence is not built by controlling every outcome, but by trusting your ability to respond wisely when life unfolds. Financial stability is built not only through opportunity, but through the wisdom to recognize what truly deserves your energy and commitment, allowing your resources to reflect your priorities instead of your anxieties. The more intentionally you invest your time, attention, and effort, the more naturally a sense of lasting security begins to replace the pressure to constantly prove yourself. When it comes to matters of the heart, you may notice emotions becoming more complex than usual. A quiet sadness or a sense that something has shifted beneath the surface doesn't necessarily mean a relationship is failing. It may simply be inviting greater honesty. Sometimes emotional distance develops so gradually that neither person notices it until silence begins replacing genuine conversation, leaving important feelings waiting to be acknowledged. Before making significant decisions, give yourself and the other person space to understand what has changed. Curiosity often creates more healing than assumption, and patient listening can reveal truths that rushed conclusions never could. Relationships continue to evolve, and genuine intimacy often depends on the willingness to rediscover one another instead of assuming nothing has changed. The strongest bonds are rarely those that never face challenges, but those that are willing to grow through them with openness, humility, and mutual respect. If a connection no longer reflects your deepest values, allow yourself to acknowledge that truth without resentment or unnecessary blame. Scorpio understands that transformation can be uncomfortable, yet avoiding difficult conversations rarely protects what truly matters. In many cases, clarity is one of the greatest expressions of kindness, because it allows everyone involved to move forward with dignity instead of remaining trapped in uncertainty. There is strength in speaking honestly without trying to control another person's response. Healthy endings and meaningful new beginnings both require clarity, compassion, and respect. Let your choices come from emotional truth rather than fear of loss or attachment to the familiar. Trusting that authenticity creates stronger foundations than obligation ever could. The relationships meant to remain in your life will be strengthened by honesty rather than threatened by it. If you are single, you may find yourself wondering why the connection you hope for has not appeared. Instead of assuming love is absent, consider whether you've overlooked someone because they didn't match an expectation formed long ago. Sometimes the qualities that sustain a lasting relationship reveal themselves quietly through consistency, emotional maturity, and genuine interest rather than immediate excitement. A calm, dependable presence can easily be mistaken for ordinary until you realize how rare genuine emotional safety truly is. Meaningful connections often begin through small moments of kindness, shared understanding, or someone whose steady presence has become so familiar that you stop noticing its significance. Remain open without forcing possibilities and allow trust to develop naturally rather than searching for certainty in every encounter. Real compatibility unfolds through time, shared experiences, and the willingness to see another person beyond first impressions, allowing affection to deepen through authenticity instead of expectation. Family relationships may also invite reflection, especially where old emotional patterns continue to influence the present. Rather than carrying the responsibility for everyone's healing, recognize that your role is to contribute honesty and steadiness, not to solve every unresolved story. Every family carries histories that shape the present, and understanding those patterns can create more compassion without requiring you to repeat them. You have the opportunity to respond differently where older habits once encouraged silence, defensiveness, or emotional distance. Conversations may bring forgotten feelings to the surface, yet they can also create space for greater understanding when approached with patience instead of defensiveness. As you become more secure within yourself, that quiet confidence often encourages healthier dynamics around you, creating change through your example rather than through control. Sometimes the greatest gift you offer the people you love is simply showing them that growth is possible without abandoning compassion. Emotionally, your energy may feel reflective rather than expansive. Deep thinking can be valuable, but be mindful of the difference between thoughtful reflection and becoming trapped in endless analysis. Scorpio's depth is one of its greatest strengths, yet that same depth can sometimes turn inward until every possibility is examined from every angle. While insight is valuable, clarity often arises when you stop trying to force every answer into place. When anxiety begins to replace insight, return your attention to what is within your control. Inner peace grows through presence, not through trying to predict every possible outcome, and sometimes the clearest answers emerge only after the mind has stopped demanding certainty. Give yourself permission to trust the quiet moments between decisions, because they often contain the wisdom that constant overthinking obscures. One quality worth strengthening is your ability to remain calm without withdrawing emotionally. Choosing peace doesn't require suppressing your feelings, nor does protecting yourself require becoming emotionally unavailable. True emotional strength allows you to stay present even when conversations become uncomfortable, trusting that vulnerability is not the same as weakness. It also means recognizing when openness creates connection and when healthy boundaries preserve your well-being. At the same time, remember that healthy self-respect is different from placing your own needs above everyone else's. Balance emerges when you honor your boundaries while remaining open to mutual understanding, creating relationships built on reciprocity instead of emotional sacrifice. In that balance, both compassion and self-respect are able to exist side by side. If you're pursuing studies or learning a new skill, uncertainty may occasionally make you question your direction. Those moments don't necessarily mean you've chosen the wrong path. They often signal that you're stretching beyond familiar territory. Growth frequently feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding, because every new level of understanding asks you to release an older version of yourself. There is a quiet confidence that develops each time you continue despite not having every answer, and that confidence cannot be learned any other way. Give yourself permission to learn gradually, trusting that confidence develops through experience rather than immediate certainty. Every challenge adds another layer to the resilience you're quietly building, preparing you for opportunities that require both knowledge and patience. The lessons that ask the most of you often become the ones that remain with you the longest. In your interactions with others, you may naturally gravitate toward people who value honesty, emotional depth, and steady communication. These are the kinds of connections that allow trust to develop naturally, without constant uncertainty or emotional gains. They create an environment where both people feel safe enough to be genuine, even when opinions differ or difficult conversations arise. The most meaningful relationships are likely to arise where mutual respect exists alongside the freedom to be authentic, allowing both people to grow without pretending to be someone they are not. Rather than focusing on labels or expectations, pay attention to the quality of the conversations and the sense of trust they create. Notice who consistently brings a sense of calm, encouragement, and sincerity into your life, because those qualities often reveal more than impressive first impressions ever could. Those relationships often become the strongest foundation for everything that continues to unfold, reminding you that the most enduring bonds are built one sincere conversation, one shared experience, and one honest choice at a time. You may also find yourself connecting especially well with people who bring warmth, confidence, and generosity into your conversations. These aren't necessarily relationships defined by romance. They could be friendships, family bonds, creative partnerships, or simple moments of genuine understanding that appear when you least expect them. Sometimes the most meaningful connections are the ones that allow you to feel fully seen without asking you to become someone different. Authentic connection isn't measured by labels, but by the sense of ease, respect, and encouragement two people create together. When those qualities are present, even brief encounters can leave a lasting impression, reminding you that the right people often bring clarity through their presence rather than through grand gestures or perfect words. As we come to the close of this reading, thank you sincerely for sharing this moment with me and for allowing yourself the space to reflect. In a world that moves so quickly, choosing to pause and listen to your inner voice is an act of quiet courage in itself. Your willingness to slow down, remain open, and look inward gives meaning to every message we explore together. My hope is that these reflections serve not as instructions for your life, but as symbols that encourage you to understand yourself with greater clarity, compassion, and confidence. Every insight becomes more valuable when it inspires you to ask honest questions instead of searching for simple answers. Remember that astrology offers perspective rather than certainty. It is a symbolic language that invites reflection, not a script that determines every step you will take. Take with you whatever genuinely resonates and allow anything that doesn't to pass without resistance or self-doubt. Your intuition remains your most trustworthy guide, especially when it helps you distinguish between old fears, familiar patterns, and the deeper truths quietly emerging beneath them. The way you meet yourself with patience, honesty, and self-respect will continue shaping the path you create from this point forward, influencing not only your choices, but also the opportunities you recognize along the way. If this reading offered you insight or encouraged meaningful reflection, I truly appreciate your support by leaving a like, as it helps these messages reach others who may be searching for the same sense of perspective and encouragement. If you'd like to continue exploring together, you're warmly invited to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss future readings created with care, intention, and respect for your unique journey. Thank you again for your trust, your presence, and the energy you bring to this community. Every person who listens, reflects, and shares this space helps shape a thoughtful community built on curiosity, growth, and mutual encouragement. Wherever your journey leads next, may you continue forward with courage, wisdom, and a heart that remains open to genuine transformation, trusting that your greatest strength will always come from the honesty with which you continue discovering yourself.